My husband caught me cheating with the neighbor. He beat him and kicked me out. I need help to fix this. I've cheated and disrespected my husband, and now he has found out. He wants to leave, and I don't know what to do. These past few weeks have been hell, and I've been constantly crying. I really need to find a way to fix what I've done. My husband is on the road most of the time since he is a truck driver. We mostly see each other 2 to 3 days out of the week. He works while I stay at home and make sure the kids get to school and take care of them. We had a new neighbor that moved in the condo next to ours. He came over one day and wanted to use our Wi-Fi since he hadn't gotten his internet hooked up yet. I didn't want to be difficult since he is our neighbor, so I gave him the password so he could get on. He then invited me over to watch a movie if I wasn't doing anything. I took him up on the movie offer, but I made it clear that I am married. He was nice about it and didn't pursue me at first. I don't know what happened, but we started hanging out on a daily basis and he kept making passes at me. I should have been stronger and pushed him away, but I missed the companionship of my husband, and I also felt good being with him. We started kissing one night, and I can't explain the feeling, but we ended up having sex. This went on since October, and I only did it on the days that my husband wasn't home. My husband came home a day early on a Thursday without calling and caught me having sex on our bed. My husband beat up the neighbor, which isn't fair because everything is my fault. He also kicked me out of the house. After a day, he told me to move back in to be with the kids, and he wanted to move out instead. I felt like he was torturing me. He was acting very cold and like he doesn't care about me. I know I made mistakes, but he didn't understand the way I felt and the fact that my feelings weren't being met. The neighbor turned his back on me and doesn't even look at me. My husband only came home for Christmas and New Year's, and even then, he said it was only for the kids. How can I get him to forgive me and fix our marriage? I love him, but he doesn't see it. He has been saying that he will file for divorce, but he still hasn't given me papers. That right there tells me that he still feels something for me. However, he still acts cold when we talk, and he says that he doesn't think he can get over what I've done. What can I do to fix this? I know I will never do this again, and I want to prove it to him. Edit number 1. The neighbor is single, so there is no wife to tell. I've been telling my husband that I want to go to counseling, but he says that it isn't going to work and it's a waste of money. The only time he's home is the weekend, and he would rather spend that time seeing his kids rather than working on the relationship with me. I can volunteer to give him all my passwords, but he acts like he isn't interested. Edit number 2. I do have a clue and I know exactly why this happened. I hate to blame my husband, but I do feel that this is partly his fault. I haven't told him this, but I feel that if he would have stepped up and not taken me for granted for so long, this would have never happened. He has every right to be upset, and I know I hurt him. However, I know that he knows that he wasn't doing everything he should have before I cheated. Still, it was my fault. I should have never cheated. I should have confronted him and told him why I was unhappy. I'm only human, and even though I'm stuck at home taking care of our kids, I have feelings too. I know that if we can make this work, then I will never cheat on him. I know now to tell him my feelings instead of holding them in and making excuses. Edit number 3. Of course, I loved him. The cheating was only physical to me. I did not love the other man as I only enjoyed his presence. I admit that I took my husband for granted, but my feelings should count for something in all of this. I won't lie, and that was my last time sleeping with him because I would probably be still doing it if I had not got caught. This was the wake-up call that I needed, and now my husband has my attention. That's why I want to prove to him that this was a one-time mistake. Edit number 4. I know that there is hope, and the fact that he hasn't served me papers proves that he still thinks there's a chance with us. I'm trying to give him space, but at the same time, I've been trying to show him in many ways how sorry I am. I'm not being selfish. I would have been upset if he cheated on me, so I can understand how it feels. I just wanted him to see that I did not do this alone. Yes, it was my choice to cheat, but he drove me to it. Even when he's home 3 days a week, it's a given that at least one of those days will be spent with his buddies, leaving only 2 days for me and the kids. I don't want to take all his time, but it isn't fair for me to sit here all week and then he comes and wants to do other things besides me. Men don't like to admit, but the truth is that women need attention. The first mistake I made was not telling him that I was unhappy with that aspect of our relationship. It makes me upset that I've been feeling this, and now he feels like he can take the high road since I was the one that caught cheating. Edit number 5. Okay, I get it. It's all my fault and I take 110% responsibility for cheating. I can't change the way I feel and the reasons, and I still feel that we both contributed to the current state of our marriage. Still, I had vows and I chose to break them. I really don't know what else I can say, but I really feel horrible behind this. I just want a chance to make it right. Edit number 6. About contact AP since the blow-up. I called him once to apologize, but that was it. He didn't give me the time of day now, and I haven't talked to him since. He knows I was married, so it's not like I deceived him. I think he's upset since my husband fought him, and that's understandable. My husband does still go out of town, but I rarely see him when he comes back. He usually just contacts me when he wants to see the kids. His behavior has been torture, and I can't imagine what's going through his mind. They say that time heals all wounds, so I hope that over time, he will see that I'm sorry and give me another chance. Edit number 7. My head has been so wrapped around winning him back that I haven't considered what I would do if we got divorced. Unless he helps with the finances, I would have to move back with my family until I start working if he wants to keep the condo. I can try looking for work now, but I would only be available to work while the kids are at school. He knows all of this since this was the life he built and wanted. We haven't discussed any of this other than the fact that he says he wants a divorce. Edit number 8. I have to post and say that things are starting to head in a different direction. On Saturday, I tried everything I could to get his attention, but he pretty much ignored me when he came over. He took the kids shopping and to the park and said that he didn't care what I will do during that time. I just gave out because he wasn't responding to anything that I was saying. I broke down on Sunday and told him that I have plans to move along with the kids to another place out of respect for him and the fact that the man I cheated with is still next door. That right there caused him to open up to me. He told me that he knows I am lonely when he is on the road, but that still doesn't excuse me to cheat. I just broke down crying and told him that I will do any and everything to save this marriage. Without him even prompting me, I posted our bed in the free section on Craigslist, and someone was there to pick it up this afternoon. Things are better because he is texting me back now and he hasn't mentioned divorce since Saturday. I have not apologized to him for telling the neighbor sorry, but that will come once I get the thought out of my head that I made the right call on that. While he is gone this week, I'm going to try to get counseling for myself because I still feel that he shares some blame in this. I've been smart enough not to tell him that, but everyone here as well as my best friend is telling me that I'm too selfish and I can't move on if I can't move forward with this if I keep placing some of the blame on him. Oh well, it's a step in a different direction, so I will see where this goes. Edit number 9. I asked him a few times in the past to try family counseling with me, but he wasn't interested. This past weekend, I told him that I will try counseling myself, and he thought it was a good idea. He is talking and texting with me more since this past weekend, and I also gave away our bed, which he says made him feel a little better. He also hasn't mentioned the divorce in almost a week. Edit number 10. I actually just had my first private counseling today. She seems very knowledgeable about these types of issues, and I felt comfortable talking to her. The issue that is really bothering me is that she told me that since we both shared the blame for the problems in our marriage, then we both share the blame for my infidelity. She said that I still had the final choice of whether or not to cheat, but the loneliness and lack of affection from him were both contributions to the decision that I made. I challenged her on this, but from the way she explained it, it really made sense. She said that even though his actions were innocent and reasonable, they were still actions that drove me to this point. She said that it would help if he came to counseling with me, and I agree. I want him to hear this from someone else so he can try to understand how I felt before and why I cheated on him. I have been feeling pretty ashamed and guilty over the past few days. We have been talking and texting, and he is very heartbroken. He told me that every day he gets up, he feels like he is reliving the nightmare all over again. I feel so bad because he talked about how lonely he is on the road, and I see now that I was selfish because I could have just called and talked to him instead of seeking affection from somewhere else. I've been telling him how sorry I am and how ashamed I am, but I still don't think he understands everything. He is under the impression that it was just lust and selfishness. He doesn't bring up the fact that I've stuck next to him for years, and it was only after so much time of being alone that I got weak and gave in. Still, I really hope he comes to counseling with me one day because I just want him to see that he has responsibilities in this marriage just as I do. In the end, I was the one that cheated. I was the one that broke my vows. I was the one that made the wrong decision, but I still feel that he does share some part of what has happened. Edit number 11. I've been doing a lot of reading here, and while a lot of it is informative, it has been making me feel a lot worse than I already was. I wish I could have read this earlier, as I would not have been stupid enough to put myself into this category. One good thing is that he told me today that he may be open to seeing the counselor one day, but he said it's not something he wants to do anytime soon. That's okay with me because I'm happy that he is opening up more and more to me, if only a little. He will be here in the morning to see the kids, and I'm going to do my best to give him all the attention he needs and try my best to show him how sorry I am. From what I've read, it would seem that since he is opening up to me slowly, we will eventually have a full repair marriage. Is it fair for me to expect that from him now? Before, I honestly didn't know what would happen to my marriage, but now, I feel like I have a little hope. Also, I know he will probably never get the thought of seeing the other man on me for the rest of his life. I swear, the worst feeling in my life was seeing him walk through that door and look me dead in my eye. Is there anything I can tell him to try to help him get over this, or will it require therapy? That part hurts me the most because I feel like his whole world crumbled at that moment. Edit number 12. I need some advice, people, because I think I screwed up. My husband came this morning and picked up the kids and took them out for the day. He was talking to me, but he didn't invite me, so I didn't bother to ask to come with them. They got home around 8, and the kids went to bed since they supposedly had a long day out with him. I felt neglected all today because I thought he would have wanted to spend some time with me since we have been talking over the past week. I've been trying to fight off these feelings because I want to give him some space since I know I hurt him. Anyway, he told me after the kids went to sleep that he was going to stay at his buddy's house until he goes back on the road on Tuesday. He said that he would come back and see the kids on Monday before he heads out. I tried to hold back my feelings because my plan was to try to get him to open up more this weekend, and I wanted him to feel loved and wanted. I couldn't think of anything, and he was trying to leave, so I told him to just sit down for a few minutes so we could talk before he left. I sat him down and just told him that I'm so sorry and I would do anything in this world to win his heart back. I felt like I was pleading for my life, but he showed little to no emotion. Right there on the couch, I just pulled down his pants and went down on him to completion. I've never went down on him out of the blue like that, and even then, I've never did it to completion since I'm not into that. This time, I did it to completion and I could tell he enjoyed it and he did not stop me. That right there told me that he must have some love for me because if he wanted nothing to do with me, he would have pushed me away when I started. When he finished, I expected that he would want to go in the bedroom and maybe have sex or at least cuddle and talk. He went and cleaned himself up and came back a different person. He accused me of doing that to the neighbor, and he said, why would I decide to do something like this out of the blue after all this time? He accused me of learning new tricks from the other man, and he said that he doesn't think we could ever have sex again because, in his words, my body has been compromised. I swear he just had me so confused because he seemed pretty pissed at me. After that, he just left the house. It's already been a couple hours, and he hasn't answered any of my texts or calls. I was just trying to make him happy, but I didn't think that this would be such a huge deal to him. Now I'm sitting here thinking that either he has been seeing someone on the road or either he is about to see someone now. It's been well over a month since we last had sex, so I know that the sexual tension has builded in him for some time, especially after being on the road every week. Was I wrong for what I did? I haven't apologized to him yet because I honestly don't see why he got so upset. I'm sitting here now and I can't sleep. I'm fighting the urge to try to call around and see where he is. Edit number 13. I'm sorry if that made things worse, but I just did it to make him happy. I went into today thinking that he would open up to me more since he's been talking to me earlier this week. I just didn't know what to do since he acted like he was trying to get away from me. So, Should I not even apologize about what happened last night and just wait for him to bring up sex before I begin to talk about it? Edit number 14. I've thought about sending him here, but what if he reads everything that I wrote? Won't that make things worse? Edit number 15. I've read through this thread again, and I've decided that although I won't delete it, I won't direct him here either. It's mainly because of two main reasons. First, I have not told him that I apologize to our neighbor. I'm sure if he finds out about that, he would be even more hurt since I messed up and told him that I never talked to him again after that. Second, I still have issues with the reasons why I cheated, and I would hate for him to start reading this thread and see that I do blame him for a lot of things wrong in our marriage. I've received a lot of support since I've been here, but I feel it may be different if he came because he would be learning things that I haven't told him yet. I'm trying to repair my marriage, not make things more worse. Edit number 16. About if husband discover she blames him for the cheating. I've been worrying about this because I feel like the more of this I lay on him, the harder it will be for him to take me back. It's bad enough that he caught me red-handed sleeping with someone. Yet, we are back talking a little, and he is opening up to me more, albeit slowly. Maybe if he found out I was cheating and that I blamed him and that I talked to the neighbor after everything went down, it would be too much for him to handle. I won't lie, I felt really bad seeing and hearing him hurt over this time. I really don't want to say/do anything that would make him more hurt. That's why I went down on him the other day. I just wanted to see him happy. I don't think there's anything else that he needs to know right now. I would rather tell him, I blamed you a lot for my cheating, but with time and therapy, I've learned that I alone was to blame for all of this. If I tell him now that I feel like he is partly to blame, he may not believe me when I tell him that I was wrong and this was all my fault. I'm sure he is fighting his own demons right now, and I'm sure there are things he wished he would have done before. When the time is right, I'm sure he will let me know. Epic Tale Emotions Notes. Since the last update, OP hasn't posted or commented further. This might indicate that she and her husband are focused on working things out in their marriage. If they've broken up, it's possible she feels too heartbroken and disappointed in herself to share what's going on.